And now, another episode of Donny Boast, Weekly Football Flash, with your host, Donny Boast.
Thank you, Johnny. Ladies and gentlemen, we have returned for Week 3 in the NFL. My, how the time flies, even though the football is terrible. What can I say? We are going to reflect ever so slightly on Week 2, even though there's not much to really go over. And then we will look at the weeks to be as we'll open up Week 3 on Thursday night between the Santa Clara Yorks and the Los Angeles Lambs. But again, in review, the Bills went into the Panthers and did nothing. The other side of the coin is the Panthers also did nothing. This was an ugly game across the board. The Panthers are in trouble on offense. The Chicago Bears are arguably the worst team in the NFL. If there was a battle for losers, it would be them and the Jets in the Super Bowl of idiots. It is terrible what's going on with both franchises. The Bears in particular are particularly crappy. The Bucs, on the other hand, look pretty good. The Vikings went into the Steelers and did nothing. That's not to say the Steelers did much either, except win the game. The Cardinals went into the Dolphins and won, just like we said they would. The Patriots went into the Saints, and we thought this was the Saints' moment to cover. They did nothing. The game did go over. The Saints are also in big trouble. The Cleveland Browns are pesky. They're tough. Watch out for them. But they still lost going into Baltimore, who handled them pretty well and covered, of course. The Chiefs also covered. The game, I think it actually just went over by half a point, depending on where you got it. And the Eagles are actually, for real, tough place to play out there in Kansas City. And it was a pretty decent game to watch. The Chiefs are on fire right now. The Tennessee Titans, my goodness, embarrassed the Jacksonville Jaguars in their home opener, 37-16. The Jaguars, they continue to be a weird team with a terrible quarterback. And the fact that Blake Bortles still has a job is an insult to every working man in America. The New York Football Jets, of course, gave up a bunch of yards to the Raiders, who thumped them 45-20 in the Raiders' home opener. Watch out for those Raiders, as we keep saying all season. The Miami Dolphins opened up their season in Los Angeles against the team formerly known as the San Diego Superchargers. And once again, the curse of Schottenheimer rings true as the Chargers continue to suck when they need to not in the most crucial points of the game. The Dallas Cowboys went into the Denver Broncos and got embarrassed on national television. It was the game of the week for, I believe it was Fox, but nonetheless, they looked terrible, and it was a bad matchup for them, and the Broncos looked great. Watch out for them, too. The Yorks went into Seattle and held on. 9-12, they lost. Seattle's offense, they are really missing Marshawn Lynch and that old-school offensive line. What can I say? The Yorks put up a fight, but it sure wasn't enough. The Washington Racists went into the Los Angeles Lambs and taught Jared Goff a valuable lesson that if you're going to play in this league, you better play with some instinct. The kid telegraphed every pass. He looked terrible. The Rams got their running game going, but it wasn't enough, and they couldn't stop the run, which is always a telltale sign for doom. The big high-flying matchup, we said take the over, and of course it went over. The Green Bay Packers had lost their two starting tackles. They went into Atlanta and still got destroyed. Dan Quinn, he definitely has Aaron Rodgers' number, and the Packers did not look good on defense. The Detroit Lions, on the other hand, proved to the world that the New York Football Giants are also another terrible team on the slide. No offensive line, no running game, and the coach looks like he has no idea what day it is. Big trouble out there in New York across the board. Moving on to this week's game, of course, the Yorks versus the Lambs. Take the under in this one. There should be a total of maybe 6 points and another snowfest on Thursday night. My goodness. Baltimore goes into Jacksonville. They're favored by 4.5. Is that it? The over-under is 40.5. I would stay away from that. Anything could happen because it's going to be turnover city over there with Mr. Bortles playing. We like Baltimore. Cleveland going into Indianapolis. Cleveland will win on the road, and I'm sure that'll be a first for them in about 2 decades. Pittsburgh goes into Chicago, and they should destroy them. The spread is 7.5. Pittsburgh can get lazy, so if they don't cover, it's their own damn fault. Miami will go into the Jets. They're favored by 6.5, and they should run all over the Jets. Take Miami. Denver goes into Buffalo in a battle of something. I don't quite know what it is. I guess you have to take Denver just because they're a better team. Houston goes into New England. New England is favored by 13 points in the spread of the week. Wow, what a whopper that one is. But I guess you have to take the New England Patriots. They want to redeem. They're always playing better than they did in the last game, or at least they strive to be. And for a gambler, you always have to bet on that. The New Orleans Saints, oh God, they're going into Carolina. Carolina's favored by 6. Somehow this over-under is 49. Take the under. This game is going to be ugly, and I guess you have to take Carolina because the Saints are terrible. Poor Drew Brees. Tampa Bay and Minnesota, that line is off because Sam Bradford is questionable, but it's a pick 'em either way. Atlanta going into Detroit. Detroit is underdogs at home. The spread is 49.5. Take the over. Take Detroit. It's going to be a big win for them. The Giants are going to go into Philadelphia. Philadelphia is almost favored by they're only favored by 3.5. That's a big. You got to take that, guys. The Giants are God. Oh my goodness, awful, awful. Seattle goes into Tennessee. It's a pick 'em. Pick Tennessee. Kansas City going into the Los Angeles Superchargers. Could this be the game that the Chargers finally win when they need to? No, Kansas City's on fire. They'll win. Cincinnati goes into Green Bay. Green Bay's -10. You have to take Green Bay because Cincinnati looks befuddled out there. They are the Bungles, the Bungles, the Bungles, and they will bungle on the road in Green Bay. Oakland goes into Washington. The Racists are 3.5-point dogs at home. You got to take Oakland in this one. I think they'll have the edge, but if you can, buy that down to 3 if you have the opportunity. Dallas Cowboys will go into Arizona. This is another road favorite by Dallas, and even though these are old rivals, they're no longer rivals. I like the over in this game, 47.5. It's on Monday Night Football, and you know how that can go. Anything can happen. I like Dallas to cover the 3.5 and bounce back. We'll see you next time.